What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, High PSI TV. I have some exciting news for the viewers today. So I've been in a partnership with Yea Welder for almost a year now. I've been using their products, reviewing their products, buying their products, and trying to help you guys get into some good welding equipment that's relatively inexpensive and works really well. So everything that I've used from them, from plasma cutters to TIG welders, MIG welders, helmets, everything has been great so far. So what I'm here to do is tell you about their biggest sale of the year. So this holiday season, you can have up to 20% off of your entire order. And if you use my affiliate code, which is High PSI TV, all one word, you can get up to an extra 10% off. So be sure you check out their website. I'll put a bunch of links in the description below. Huge sale, guys. A great opportunity to get some great equipment for beginners or for professionals. So I use their stuff at RPM Motorsports almost every day, and I have some stuff here at the house too that I use on a regular basis. My latest purchase was this helmet. So far I absolutely love it. Today what we're going to do is a review of a multi-process welder. So I'm going to go ahead and get it on the table, tell you a little bit about it, and go ahead and unbox it. Alright, so the welder we're going to be talking about today from Yea Welder is the MIG-205DS. And like I said a second ago, this is a multi-process welder. So I'm going to break this up a little bit. We'll go ahead and do the unboxing, and we're going to set it up, and I'm going to review one of the processes that it is capable of doing. And then in the next video, I will do the other process. So I'm not a very good arc welder. This machine is capable of arc welding. I might try it just for fun, but we're going to stick to the MIG and TIG side of this machine for these videos. So I'm excited to try out this multi-process welder. I've never had one before. So I've always had a machine specific to one type of welding, whether it be MIG or TIG welding. Any TIG machine I've ever had was AC/DC, whereas this machine for TIG is just DC. So what we're going to do is start dragging stuff out of this box. Alright, so fresh out of the box, our MIG-205DS, and this is what comes in the box. So you have the main unit here, you have a MIG gun, voltage adapter from 110 to 220, gas line connection, your arc welding clamp, earth clamp, wire brush, and some little stuff to get your gas line hooked up and get your wire spool in the machine. So what this does not come with is anything to do the lift TIG. It also does not come with any consumables, which I was kind of surprised about. So you can see there's nothing going on in here right now. Lucky for me, I have a Yea Welder TIG welder, so I can borrow the torch off that and we'll review that side of the machine. But I do have to go get some MIG wire. So I'm going to go run some errands, and when I get back, we'll plug the machine in, go over the front display, and we'll weld some stuff up and see how it does. Okay, we know what comes with it. Let's talk about what didn't come with it. Spool of wire, $13 at Lowe's. I ended up getting 030, just regular mild steel MIG wire. This also does not come with a regulator. So what is the bare minimum you need to make this welder weld? You could pick up a roll of flux core wire, then you don't need a gas or a regulator. It does not come with any of the TIG torch components, but I think I have something to make that work, but we're going to cover that in the next video. So it also does not come with any rod for arc welding. So if you were going to use this as an arc welder, you'd have to get some rod. So what they give you is everything but consumables and gas flow stuff. They give you a nice little chart here, which we'll go over in a minute, for setting up the welder. Now if you guys have watched my reviews in the past, you know I'm kind of quick to the point. I want to get the product working, use it, see how it welds, and then I'll go over a little bit more details towards the end. So I'm going to get a welding table out. I'm going to get the regulator and gas hooked up to this thing because we're going to work with MIG welding today with gas. Okay, so ran into a little bit of an issue with the setup with this machine. This is what I bought to put in it, just a 2-pound spool of 030 wire, right? Now in your little cheat sheet, it shows you how to set up the drive for a 2-pound spool, but it doesn't come with the parts to do that. So I have my 10-pound spool out of my other MIG welder, but that's 023 wire. The 2 drive bearings they give you won't work with 023 wire. So I am going to steal some drive parts out of my other MIG welder and see if I can get this wire set up in here. So just be aware, guys, that it's set up for a 10-pound spool only, at least the one that I got, and you have to run 30 or 35 thousandths wire. So I'm gonna try to put this together so that we can continue with this video today. Okay, now the machine's on, so the fan is running. But here's what I came up with. I just ditched the whole spool drive here, put my spool on with my little spring washers and lock nut, got the drive set up for the right size wire, and it's working. So this is gonna get us through the video, and I'll let you know in the next video if it continues to work set up like this. So yes, you can put a 2-pound spool in here, but I believe it's set up specifically for a 10-pound spool. Now on the front of the machine, when you're feeding new wire, has this button right here, which feeds wire, so it drives the motor without sending any current through it. So when you're running new wire through, you can push this button and it will feed wire through without sending any current, which is kind of cool. So I'm gonna get some more stuff set up, and then we'll go over the settings on the front of the machine and we'll weld some stuff together. Okay, we're looking at the front display on this welder, which is a little involved but pretty easy to understand. So we have a bunch of green LEDs, and these tell us different things. So let's go with these two buttons first. What we have here is our wire feed for setting up new wire, and this is a gas test button. So with your tank open, you can hit the gas button and it will flow as long as you're holding the button, and that way you can set up your regulator. Kind of a neat feature. So see, it says gas on, so we can set up how much gas flow we have. Now for MIG welding, you can see we're set up here. It's hard to read with the LED so bright, but you have MIG, carbon dioxide, MAG, which is metal inert gas. So that's going to be our mix of argon and carbon dioxide. The LED at the bottom is for stick welding. Then you have TIG lift and gasless. So to change these, you'll use this button over here, and it's going to change all your settings around. So let's say we're gonna do some stick welding. It's gonna remember the last settings you had for stick welding, and it's gonna change the welder to those settings. We'll go back to metal inert gas, and it's gonna set us up where we were for MIG welding. Now, the two values displayed up here are amperage and voltage. So let's say we're gonna weld some, I don't know, sheet metal. So what we can do is this button over here is gonna light up our thickness of material. Now this is metric, so you're gonna have to convert whatever you're welding into metric. But you can see the voltage is changing as our metal thickness changes. So this is an auto set welder, which is kind of neat. Now it'll save your settings and go back to the values of amperage and voltage. So we're gonna play with this a little bit and see how it works. There's also an inductance. You can change this from -10 to +10. So this is gonna be kind of like how much penetration you want in your weld. Another neat feature on this welder. So I'm gonna get a couple scrap pieces and we're gonna throw some beads down. Also, just so you guys know, the hookup on the front of this, we have our torch lead here, which screws into the front of the machine. And for MIG welding, this lead that comes out of the machine is gonna go to positive, and negative is gonna be our earth ground clamp, which is on our table. So whenever I have a new piece of equipment like this, what I like to do is find a piece of scrap and just run a few beads on it, not trying to weld anything together, but just get a feel for how the welder is gonna work. So what I have is a piece of 1/8 inch plate, which is 3.3 millimeters. So for fun, I'm gonna set up the machine for 3.3 millimeters and see how it acts. So we're gonna change this over to the thickness of our base material, which is going to be 3.3. We'll let it save the setting. It says 164 amps, which is a lot. So let's see what happens. Not too shabby. Now, if I were to set up the machine with my own settings, I would probably turn down the wire speed. But let's run another bead just for fun, set up like this.
Here we go. So now what I'm going to do is manually turn down the amperage to about 120, and we'll see how it welds. So we have 2 at 164 and 1 at 120. And you know what? I think their machine settings are better than mine. So I'm gonna clean another piece of scrap and we'll do some joint welding and see how it turns out. All right, now that we've had a little bit of practice with the welder, I've set it back to 3.3 millimeter thickness, which is about 1/8 of an inch. We're gonna run some beads along this little triangle piece that I cut out and see how it works. I'm gonna flip it around and weld the other side complete. So you can see on thicker metal, this machine lays down really nice beads. So what I'm gonna do is grab a couple pieces of sheet metal, measure them, and then we'll try welding some thinner stuff. So what I have here is a 30 thousandths metal strip that I used to patch the floorboards in my packer leftover piece. So that measures 0.08 millimeters. We're gonna come back over to our machine, switch over to our thickness setting, and go to, well, let's see how low it'll go. .8, that's the lowest it'll go. 30 amps and 13 volts. So let's see what it does. So I think we actually need to weld a little bit hotter. So I'm going to turn it up and run another bead. Okay, I think that's better. So let's run one more. There we go. All right, so that's all I'm going to do for the MIG welding side of this machine. The next video is going to be on the TIG welding side of it. So a few quick pointers. Be sure you have consumables, the correct consumables that you're going to use when welding with this machine. Like I said, yeswelder.com, they have everything on there that you might need to complete the setup of this machine. Today I was welding 110. I didn't feel like dragging out the cord for the 220. Didn't have any issues at 160 amps, so that's good. The sheet metal welding, normally I spot weld, but I wanted to make sure that this wouldn't burn through and still give me a good weld, which it absolutely did. On the thicker metal, I'm actually really impressed with those welds as well. So I have some more scrap laying around. I'm gonna play with this thing a little bit more. And after the TIG welding review of this machine, I'm gonna do a collective, what do I think of this multi-process welder? All right, so today is November 21st. And like I said, this is going to be one of the biggest sales that yeswelder.com has ever had. go check out their products. The helmet that I use at the shop for TIG welding, it's the panoramic view. I love it to death. Everything that I've used from Yes Welder, their TIG welder, their plasma cutter, and now this multi-process welder, which I've just tried out the MIG function on. I'm really impressed with these products. They work great, and the customer service has been great as well. I like the setup sheet that you get with this machine. It helps you with wire size, it helps you with settings. The front panel of the machine can be a little bit confusing, but once you use it a little bit, you're really gonna get used to it, and you're gonna lay down some really nice welds. For a beginner, a great machine. And don't forget, guys, when you go to yeswelder.com, if you buy a welder, use my affiliate link, High PSI TV, all one word. That'll help me out and help you guys out as well, get a little bit more of a discount. If you guys have any questions about any of the products that I've reviewed for Yes Welder, shoot me a DM. I'll be sure to answer them on Instagram. You can follow me here. And if you guys do end up purchasing a welder or any of their other equipment, let me know what you think of it. I'm going to be buying one of their bigger machines here in the next couple of months because I want to do some aluminum spool gun welding. So they offer that with a couple different welders of theirs. But for the price, the MIG-205DS, if you're a beginner or if you're a professional, this is a lightweight, compact machine, and it's going to do almost everything that you need it to do. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to check out Yes Welder, and we'll see you in the next video.